Okay, it's time. This is not going to be a cozy mental health hovel. It's not a cute self-care treehouse either. And it's definitely not Aldi. Love you, Aldi. I'm building a Woohoo club. So this is Skinny Selma, and Selma had this great idea that she would open a fitness centre, which she was going to call the Helix Woohoo Club. This is the backstory, this is the lore. And she's calling it a Woohoo Club because that's what she shouts when she's had a really good treadmill session, right? But she didn't explain this in her brief. So Selma is getting a Woohoo Club, and I do feel a little sorry for her because she's already enlisted her friends Bonkers Betty and Gladys Girdles to man the bars. They thought it meant like putting weights back on bars, but it's not, it's a different kind of bar. But she's paid for it, and honestly Selma's just getting what I give her. So as usual, we're starting with my trusty mannequin, who is Sinful Red this time for scale. So I'm starting off with a little floor plan here using some floor tiles, and we're going to have this central cesspool area that makes Jesus cry. And then in the peripherals, we're going to have these smaller other cesspool areas that make Jesus cry just a little bit less. They just make him like he can hold the tears in these areas. They just like silently sobbing, but it's not quite as bad as this horrible central area. And that's the floor plan here, really. And I'm putting in this staircase, and I always struggle with staircases. This is a very sinful, horrible staircase that did not behave, and I'm not surprised in a place like this. So I had to do it a few times and move it around, but I cannot fix these ones that go around. I don't know how they work. I have to do them about 3 times, and then it works. And I got there in the end. And I'm going to use a lot of platforms in this build, which are great, but they don't function that well. When you try and place things on them, they don't really work that well. But we're going to have the platform area, we're going to have the stairs coming down into the platform, we're going to have this like changing room area with a very sly, dark looking corridor in the back, some toilets, and then we're going to have a staircase up to the second level. There's going to be 3 levels. There's going to be this level, there's going to be a top floor level, there's going to be a basement, and they're all going to be disgusting and foul and sinful and not very Christian. And I know you might be thinking, like, this is an odd build for you to be doing because you sound so very pure. And I am very pure. And that's why I live vicariously through The Sims. And if this was real life, I would probably remain here for about 5 minutes before just vanishing into the shadows and disappearing and running away and not telling anyone because I had an anxiety attack. And then they would probably message me like half an hour later and be like, where did you go? And I'll be like, I couldn't find you. And I ran. Well, I didn't run away. I just like left, and I've tried really hard to find you, and I couldn't find you, and I didn't. I just ran. Here, I can tolerate this build because it's not real. And I also thought that everyone was doing really cute builds with the new expansion pack, the Businesses and Hobbies one, and it was like laundrettes and pottery clubs and things like that. And I just thought, you know what? I want to do a Woohoo club, and that's why I'm doing it. I had originally, when I started my channel, I did this, if anyone remembers, I did a build, there was like a church build, and around the church there was some shops from my old ladies in Widow Creek, and they were all really like nice, wholesome shops, like a cafe and a tea shop and a bakery and a haberdashery shop. And then there was one shop that I never uploaded, and well, one person noticed and I got called out. You know who you are. And they said, what's the last shop gonna be? Maybe a Woohoo shop. And I was like, how did you know? And I had cold feet and I never uploaded it. But I just wanted to do something a bit more cursed, and now I have the confidence to upload this, and maybe I'll regret it. Actually, I do sort of have cold feet now, to be honest, but I've spent a whole bloody week doing this, so I'm gonna upload it anyway. So I'm not going to show you me doing the whole exterior because it's kind of basic, but the idea here is that there's this old build, and maybe this building was like an old like fashion shop or something like that, and then they've added this extension and just turned the whole place into a horrible place of sin. And that's what I did here, and I just did a sort of basic shell and did my usual over detailing the walls. But it's not that exciting, so I didn't really show you that bit. This is about the horrible, like cesspool-y stuff that's going to go on inside this build. So that's what we're going to focus on today. There's also this giant window. We'll get to that later. So the first thing in terms of decor that I did inside was this just came to me. It came to me as if it had manifested from some sort of primal urge within my brain, some primal designer that is not linked to my consciousness. And I just thought, I'm going to have this double helix going down into this weird, like, classical style torso, and the build became unhinged really quickly because I was just gonna do a really stupid joke build, and then I got too into it immediately. And this is the symbolism going on here. And I showed my friend this like double helix torso thing, and he was like, what the hell, there's something wrong with you. And I just said, well, you know what, it's not my fault if you cannot comprehend my gender double helix DNA strands that are coalescing into a human form. Like, that's you, that's your problem. And it is, because I think it's quite obvious. So we've done this bar here, and we've gone with like a blue and this like Barbie Dreamhouse pink color. And that is sort of the palette, the hue palette that we go with for most of this build for a while. And then I do end up changing it. And I did these shelves at the back of the bar, and I had to delete the wall to place these because they were clipping into all this other stuff that I've covered the windows with curtains and some like, because I wanted the build to have old windows on it, but obviously I don't want windows looking into this like horrendous sinful club. So I've covered them up with curtains and some other things, and then deleted the walls to place these. Had to delete them about 3 times to layer these shelves up, and then also place these lights. But I got there in the end. And then I've coloured these again, colouring them with blue. If you don't know how to change the lights in game, you just shift click on a light. And this was not working for me for a while, but since the latest update, it started working again. Before that, I would shift click and the light would sort of act like it had responded, but the menu would not show. So this does now work again. And here we go. Here's the bar. This nice blue, very flirtatious, mixed with leopard print leggings, pink. And we're going to move on here to this central sort of lowered area, which is going to be a dance floor, but also like a seating area. This is a Woohoo club. Woohoo is not an option that you can pick when you're in the Business and Hobbies, which I did not know until I finished this. I thought you could pick that. My friend told me you could pick that, and he lied to me. So I had to get a mod that then added a bunch more things, and I will link that down below if anyone is interested. There's a mod that allows you to add, it's like got 250 more activities that you can add to clubs. And I added Woohoo, and not a single person Woohoo's in this club, which is probably, fine. I don't want to get told off by YouTube. And also Woohoo means, obviously I need to stress that the Woohoo is the sound that you shout when you do really well on a treadmill. Just want to make that really clear. So I'm placing these things around here, and I got this. This is a CC piece. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a chair, maybe it's a bench, maybe it's a table. I don't know. But it was circular, and I thought, you know what? This is a bit like an egg. And so this, I told you this got far too deep. It got far too symbolic for a club. And I've ended up with this egg thing in the middle, and it gets worse. It does get worse. And it's gonna get worse here because I'm changing some of these chairs to black, and I was like, you know what if this is like the corruption, this is like sinful corruption, and I have these floor pieces and the corruptness is going into the egg, and maybe this is like, don't try for a baby in this club because it will end up a corrupt baby. And there was whole like, it was too much, it was too far, and it didn't stop. I went with it for the whole build. It was too much. And I don't really know what this theme is that I've come up with either. I sort of went along with it, and I was like, you know what if we go for sort of like ancient Roman, sort of like historic human desire, and then mix it with like cyberpunk lights and things. And I ended up just calling this Fertility Punk Colosseum. And I don't know, maybe you have a better idea for what I should call this theme, but that's what I ended up going with for most of this build. And I'm using these get-together pieces that, to me, these are now pyramid pieces because I used these in my pyramid, but I guess they're just like broken wall pieces. And I used them to line up, what was going on. I did try and make friends with this wall item, but it didn't work, so goodbye. And here the egg's getting even worse because we're putting an egg inside the egg. So please, like, this is very pure. I just need to say that this is very pure. It's very artistic. It's not bad. It's just, make of all of what goes on in this build, just interpret it for yourself. And I'm going on with this black. This black is really good contrast to this Botox pink color. I'm calling it like dominatrix black. And now we're going on to the changing rooms, which again the Sims will not use because this pack is really nice in concept, but once I opened this to try and get cinematics, not a lot was happening, so that was a thing. But I didn't put much effort into this room, if I'm honest, so I'm not that bothered that they don't use it. We end up putting the ticket machine in here, but other than that, I put in some lockers, and I thought, maybe the Sims would autonomously go in here and get changed. Maybe there would be a way for me to say, like, when you come to this club, wear your party outfits or whatever, but that wasn't an option that I could find because that's missing from the pack for some reason, but there we go. So there's just some lockers here, and I'm going to put some shelves and things like that, and I light this place up eventually, but this is just like a horrible dark drab sinful area where you come and take your clothes off, really, I guess. And I didn't do any kind of like gendered toilets or changing rooms. We're onto the bathrooms here, and I don't normally show the bathrooms, but this one I did a little bit more different, so I'm showing you that. But these are just like genderless toilets because I can't be bothered having a bathroom debate. So if you're male, these are for you. If you're female, these are for you. If you're neither, these are for you. If you're a furry, these are for you. And if you're a dog trapped in a human body, these are also for you. So we're going to move on here to this other area, which I've discovered something in this build that I'd heard about, but I'd never tried before, and that's that you can flood a room using the pond tool. And I really wanted to do this like bathing seating area kind of thing in one of these lesser cesspool areas. And Jesus will still cry in here, but we're gonna make it just like a little bit more tasteful. So we've got these columns here, and there's going to be another bar here that Gladys and Bonkers Betty's will attend. And I'm just figuring out how I'm able to flood a room here. So I'm doing it with different split levels and things. I'm getting my mannequin in. He was handy here for me to figure out how deep I wanted the water to be. And I'm using half walls, I'm using the platforms, and I've just sunk it into the ground. And then I'm going to end up putting some stairs down into that as well. In the end, I think I made the water a bit too high because they don't sit on the chairs, but they didn't sit in a single chair in any of this build. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't tell them in the business and hobbies thing that sitting in chairs is part of business activities. It's almost like they'll do everything except anything. If they will only do the things you put in business activities. That's how I felt when I opened this. But I'm putting these chairs in anyway, and look how nicely I've lined the water up so that you have the little arms out of the water and everything. And they didn't use them because they're very ungrateful. And I'm putting in these sort of rocky things. We're going around continuing with this fertility punk Colosseum theme that I've designed myself. I'm quite proud of it. Maybe I'll do all my builds in this theme now. Maybe I won't. And also these window frame things, which again, this is CC. There's CC in this build. I do apologize, but there is CC in this build because I like my wall items. But I just need to immerse you in this little section of this build because that water, well, it's gone now. Where did it go? I don't know. Oh, so I could delete this wall. Okay. But this water, I need you to know that it stinks. Like, it's pungent. It is pungent. Imagine that you've like opened a bottle of bleach and it's right under your nostrils. That's what this smells like because they know that this water is going to be exposed to a lot of indecent human activity. So they have just like chemicalized the crap out of it, and it stinks. And you probably wouldn't even go in here, but I want you to imagine that your eyes are running, your nose is stinging. Like, that's what this water smells like. So I've placed these lights back in here again, and we're going to color them up. We're going to color them once I've added the water back in, because that vanished about 10 times during this build. And again, we're going to go with this blue and this Botox pink color. And overall, I think the combination of these colors works quite well. It's very, sultry and luscious and flirtatious. This sort of combined eggplant purple color. And I'm adding more lights. The lights in this build, but when you see a dance routine and the choreography is not that great, but the performance is really good because the dancers are just flipping their hair throughout the whole thing. They're doing like hairography, and it masks that the choreography is not very good. Well, that's this build, and the lights are the hair. Because the actual design of this isn't that great. It's just, the lights really make this build and turn it into the illusion that there's something better going on than what's really going on here. And I'm lighting up the floor and everything. And to be honest, that was the most fun part of this build because I don't get to play with lights very much, and especially because I couldn't access the color panel for so long, and now I can again. So I'm doing this lovely mix of lights. I'm very into hues. I like my hues. There we have this sort of like lesbian flag orange coming into this, some rhinoplasty pink, all of these colors that are coming together to make this, you know, very sinful, abhorrent, disgusting build. And you can see I've started playing with the colours here. I will do that later. We have a bit of like sultry Sahara desert colour coming into it. That doesn't remain, that changes, but this all sort of changes by the end. So don't get attached to any of the colours that you see except this first floor, but the rest of them will change. So I'm doing this entrance bit, and this is where we're going to have the tickets, but not the tickets. This is where you pretend the tickets are, because the tickets are actually elsewhere, because I heard that if you put the tickets more inside the build, it makes the Sims stay inside the build rather than at the entrance, because if you put it at the entrance, they might just walk out again. So again, that's another gameplay thing that kind of flops. But we're going to sell all of these various liquids and gels, which are all very pure. Who knows what they are? They're just, you know, make of all of this what you will. And there's some towels you can get here, and a dressing gown if you might want that. But we've got all these different flavors, smells I mean, of all of these things that are some pump versions. If you want that, you can buy that here. Again, I do not know what these are. I couldn't possibly, so you have to sort of use your own imagination to decide what these are. And then we're using the OMSP shelf just to place these towels at the end. And here I've lit it up, and I've used some lettering on the walls to write Helix, because again, this is the Helix Fitness Woohoo Club, which is not about fitness, because Skinny Selma was not clear about that. And this entrance bit is all quite like dark and dingy black. You don't want people really looking in. You want them to just like go through to the main bit, and people outside not really looking in and seeing anything that might scar them for life. So it's all quite, you know, blindfold black. And I'm putting these arrows just to make it clear on the floor that this one entrance area, this only option of where you can go is in fact where you should go, because we don't know how clever the people are who are coming in here. They might need to know. And then I'm putting a head here. There's a lot of heads that get in this build. There's a lot of head occurring in this build. And now we're moving on to the basement, and this is going to be, it was too much. It was just too much. But this is the Garden of Eden. So that's what this is. This is the home of original sin. I just thought, you know, we needed this symbolic part of the build for our Sims who are all just here for very vulgar reasons. So I'm having to re-record this bit because I stupidly muted my mic. So here we are. Hi, hi again. So this is going to be the basement bit. It's going to be the pool area that is probably full of bacteria. You probably will get a verruca by walking on the floor here. And it's going to have garden bits. It's the Garden of Eden, so of course it's going to have a garden bit. So I'm just making those. I'm using this grass swatch, and I'm doing some platforms, and they're going to go up. So it's going to be like a border garden, and then there's going to be some showers in the corner, which again, probably not the cleanest, but there we go. They will look nice. It's going to be a very high fashion area. We're going to do Garden of Eden, but like fashion. It's like fashion catwalk version of Garden of Eden. Again, like the themes in this, I went too far. I went far too far with this. I was having too much fun. And we're going to have the pool area, and then through the little like archways, which don't stay there, so I don't get attached to them. We're going to do some hot tubs, which I misjudged the size of the hot tubs. I thought they were a lot smaller than what they are, because I don't really use them that often. But this is all just like the foundation work. I wanted to really map out this area in full before I started doing anything. But you can see here, I'm about to get one of the hot tubs out. And look how enormous it is. So I put that down and I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, how large is this? It's like 3x3. It's ridiculous. It did not need to be that big. That's like a whole pool. But I wanted it to be sunk into the ground because I didn't like the whole like side of it showing. So I'm playing around trying to do that, and in the end I just have to adjust this a little bit because the Sims don't know how to use it. Like, unless they can climb over the ledge, they don't know how to just put their leg in and go down into it, which is quite a shame because I feel like if I didn't know how to do that, I would struggle quite a lot in daily life. But there we go. And then we're going to do this little bar area as well. What am I doing here? I don't know. So we got the bar out. I'm not going to show you me building another bar because I've built like 7,000 so far already. So here we go. Just cut to it being done. We're going to have some more towels here in case you came down and you realized you did actually want to swim, but you didn't get a towel at the start. There you go. You can buy one. And now we're going to get to lighting this place up, which is my favorite part. And this will transform the Garden of Eden into something a lot more sultry and flirtatious. And it's going to really encompass the disgusting sin of natural human desire. How dare you? And a few different lights going on here. So I'm going to all map it out with this first little pool area. We got these like ring lights. I thought this was CC that I just accidentally downloaded and had no idea. But this actually came with the Business and Hobbies pack, which is they're really cool and they look like CC, and they might be made by a creator because I think some of the things in the new pack are actually made by CC creators. But this item is, I was just like, that we need that. We need the Garden of Eden and we need that. That's the vibe we're going for. And I don't know, again, I don't know what we're calling it. You know, Fertility Punk Fashion Show Coliseum or something. And we're gonna have some of these ivy going up the wall. I had to place these quite specifically because the lighting, it's really fun playing with the lighting, but when you place things in the lighting, some of them behave in different ways and they light very differently if you like nudge them over a pixel. So I had to be quite precise with how I place things here. And now we're getting out the mannequins here. We have Adam and Eve. How dare you, Adam and Eve? How actual dare you? What did Adam and Eve do that was so bad? I don't remember, actually. They ate an apple, right? That's how dare you. Try and have a healthy diet. Disgraceful. Anyway, I'm going around and I'm placing the foliage. I've done this like ground covering. And I'm just continuing for now. This will not stay this color, but I'm continuing with this blue and like rhinoplasty pink color. And in the end, it was getting too much, so I do change that as we go through the build, but I'm just basically repeating here what I did in that first initial pool section to unify the Garden of Eden into the same level of sultry, flirtatious, romantic, dareful, disgraceful human desire, and that's what I'm doing right now. Again, this pool water probably has quite a lot of chemicals in it to try and, you know, keep the bacteria at bay. There's a constant biological warfare going on in this swimming pool where they're trying to keep on top of the bacteria. You just don't see it because it's on a microscopic level. But if you drank the pool water, you'd maybe end up in hospital. So I would suggest when you dive in, you just like hold your breath and don't open your mouth. That's what I would do if I was here. So continuing around with these walls, placing these wall lights, and it was getting a bit too colorful. So I'm going around and I'm adding a little bit more of a like white hue to sort of neutralize the blue and the Brazilian butt lift pink. And again with these ring lights going in, placing those, very high fashion, very fabulous, very catwalk, very, I don't know what this style is, I just did it, I made it up. And a few pot plants, and then we're gonna have another Adam and Eve, and this will change later on because I thought, you know what, I'm getting sick of this. I'm gonna have an Adam and Steve and an Eve and a, I don't know, like Beth or something. I don't know. Now I'm placing these chairs in, and I use these ones because I thought they look like those kind of beanbags that you can get that are waterproof and you can put outside, and some cushions on them. And then I'm just going to do some really basic showers. They're just literally just showers, and then the lighting is what makes the showers look like there's more going on in here. Like I said, this is the hair in the choreography. And we're going to have blue and we're going to have pink. And then I was like, you know what, this can be even more extra. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do another layer of blue, and I'm going to do another layer of pink. And it just made it look like I'd put a lot more effort into these showers than I actually had, which was the goal really that I was going for. So now we're going to move on to this window section that I told you about. And I was thinking, you know, like sort of Amsterdam red light district sort of thing going on here, except the Helix Club, Woohoo Club version. So I'm sort of going to repeat a sort of Adam and Eve moment up here with the grass and the same lighting, the blue, and I've run out of names to call that pink now. So we're just going to call it Orifice Pink. I don't know. So like here's Adam and Eve, the forebearers of original sin. They ate an apple. It was quite disgusting. You all know the story. How dare they? And we're going to put some helixes in here for the Helix Nightclub, again in these colors. And I didn't like how it looks in the middle, so I just gave them both, like, I split like this DNA strand into the masculine and the feminine. Very biological, like there's a lot going on in this build, very symbolic. We're mixing science and religion, we're mixing modern and ancient culture and mythology and all of these things, and it was just too much for a Woohoo club, and I don't know why I did it, but here it is. Got some glowing stones, and then I put Helix on the front here in these letters. I hadn't even decided that this club was going to be called Helix, but as I went through, it ended up being called Helix because of my original idea to do these DNA strands that, like, the combination of gender, because we're all a mixture of masculine and feminine and all that, and it is too much. I'm not going to lecture you all. It's just, it is what it is. It's The Sims. It's really not that big of a deal. So now we're moving upstairs, and the upstairs bit is going to be like, this is the worst part. This is the worst part. You know how, like, the layers of hell get worse as you go down? Well, the layers of the Helix Woohoo Nightclub get worse as you go up. It's sort of the reverse. It's like an anti-reverse hell. It's like flipping religion and symbolic hell on its head. It's doing the reverse. Maybe there's something bold and profound in that, but I'm not smart enough to tell you what that is. So we're going to make these chairs black. And go around with these. I got a bit lost up here, I'll be honest. I didn't really know. I wanted to keep the same thing, and this is where I realized that I was going to go through and sort of like make the levels different colors, because it was all just becoming a bit too like samey. So here what I'm doing is sort of samey to what I've done downstairs, and it's just the same colors. Again, it's that blue and that pink that I've run out of a funny name to call it. And using these pieces. What are these pieces called? This video is too long and my brain's not working anymore. So these pieces, it's just pieces. They're all pieces. This game is full of building pieces, and that's what we're using to make this build. This build took me longer as well. It took me, well, I planned that it would take me a week, but it took me 1 day extra because I spent a day making the background music for this video, which again, I didn't need to do, but I will just be extra in everything that I do. I could have just used some stock music, but I didn't want to do that because I'm just stubborn like that and whatever. So I've cut through and I've done the lights again because I've placed these lights so many times at this point. And I'm going to go in with a few more different items. This is what I mean. I was sort of running out of these fertility punk Colosseum, whatever the hell this is, Mayan temple items. And this does change a little bit. And I tried initially with this ivy to bring up some more of this like plant texture. And this just wasn't working for me. I thought this looks stupid. It looks ridiculous. It's not tasteful enough because I decided that this, although this was a Woohoo club, it was a very tasteful one. And it was very symbolic, and the people who leave here have probably had like a mild religious experience, and that this upper part currently was not providing that, and that wasn't good enough. So then I went through and I did get rid of those plants eventually. And here you go, here you can see I went through, I did some testing, and now we have this fires of hell orange going on up here. And I liked how this turned out. I was like, you know what? This really does contrast. It sort of contrasts what's going on in the lower level that you can see below, but does not conflict with it too much. It was giving me very nice hues. It was giving me this nice transition from flirtatious to outright disgusting sinner. It was giving like hazard. It was like hazardous. Like if you come up here, you know you've gone too far. Don't come up here in this part of the build. I mean, that's what I thought this was going to be. The Sims don't come up here anyway, because I guess they're like a lot more pure than I thought they were. So again, I'm coming up with this, like some of the chairs are corrupt. Again, I don't know why I decided that was the case, but with some of this, like leather harness black mixed with the etherealness of the stone or whatever. Like this chair, again, this will change. I'll probably speed this bit up because even I'm getting bored of looking at chairs now at this point. These island adventure, no, it's not that one. Jungle adventure, like Mayan pieces. I moved these in here because it's getting, we've got this transition from very classical ancient architecture and heads and torsos and things, and we're moving up to this more like very, very ancient times. Like these were the times where they did a lot more human sacrifice and things, and that's why this is a worse point of sin and hell. And that's what I'm going with for the explanation for this part. So I've gone through and I've changed it all up a bit. I made all of the chairs black again to tie in that theme of like, if you come up here, you're really foul and disgusting. And I'm placing these doors that look quite, you know, risque. And these are going to be the bedroom areas, which again, the Sims do not woohoo in this build, even though I told them to with this mod. They just sleep in these beds. So it was the most like underwhelming woohoo bedroom, you know, nightclub thing that I've ever seen in my whole life, which is like, I've only ever seen one of those. So it's not much of a comparison. But we're going to move on and do the bedrooms. And I did these with a nice red bed in this very, you know, like blood red, human sacrifice red. and these curtains that go around it. And it's giving like, no, it's not human sacrifice red. This is vampire fantasy novel red. That's what this hue is, this particular one here. And I'm placing all of these diagonal lights down again and colouring those in red, because it's going to be very red in this room. I hope you got that from me telling you that it was going to be red. And then I ended up making it a bit more sunsetty, more like these are the sunset vibes of hell, because if you're in hell, you might as well enjoy some of you know, like the sunset part. And that's what you can see here. Hell can be beautiful. There's beauty in everything, including burning in fire. And that's what we did for this room here. You've also got these like cage bars, because it's sort of like, you know, you're in prison because you're really naughty. And the prison bars are in this bondage black color as well. So the Sims can do what they want in this room, and you can really just use your imagination. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to say it's a lovely hotel bedroom. So now we're going to move on to this part, and I thought, you know, I want to give the Sims another option to pretend that they can buy things but not actually buy things, because it's not gameplay functional. So I put some tissues here in case they might need some. All of these items here are there for very pure reasons, and if you don't think that they are, then that's your problem and not mine. And we got these tissues and some candles in case you want to take some candles into the bedroom. A little stethoscope doctor set in case you have an accident and emergency. Some chains in case there's any repair work that you need to do in the bedroom. We're also going to put in some boxing gloves in case you slightly fear for your like safety, you need some self-defense. A skipping rope for anyone who wants to do a little bit of workout in there. Whatever the hell these are, I'm not quite sure, but you can make up your own mind. And I'm also going to put in some rubber ducks because I just felt like it. And I just thought that was hilarious. You can take those down to the pool maybe and make friends with a rubber duck if you don't end up finding anyone that you're interested in this club. Some baby powder, which is always useful. This arrow, put a horrible dark magic spell on someone. Another boxing glove. I'm going to put here a red one this time in case you need to self-defense but do it a little bit more aggressively. You can use that red one. A fire extinguisher in case anyone has any accidents with the candles. Again, health and safety, very important in this build. Not the squid, we're not putting that in. Okay, yeah. These little pipette things, which I don't know. Again, I don't know what those could be used for, so it's probably a very pure reason. And we're almost done here. I just put a few more things in. And these are like clay molds or something, but I just thought I liked the shape for no other reason other than it combines with the geometry of the other pieces that I've put in here, and that's the only reason why these sort of slightly yeah, they're in there. And then the last thing we needed was an eggplant, because diet is important. And I'm just gonna finish off this build with a few things. Eve needed an apple because she was the one who did the original sin. How dare you? But at the front she has a handbag because at the front she's a strong independent businesswoman. So I also thought this torso thing needed to be able to serve some drinks from his rear, so that was important. And then I'm placing this ticket machine in this changing room, which no one uses other than to use the ticket machine, so that's that. I also put this sign in, which you apparently needed to do to open a business, but I don't really like it, so just pretend that's not there. So you can see here, I've done the lot traits. I've done clothing optional, which was very important. Romantic aura, which makes no hell of a difference. And singles hangout, which again, I don't think really made much of a difference. So that's the 3 lot traits. So now I've brought Skinny Selma to her new business. She's having quite a shock because it's not what she expected. But here's the little business things. I'm calling it the Helix Woohoo Club. And I didn't really know what to put in the description, so I just put disgusting and sinful. And then I downloaded a mod. As you can see, the number of things here that I can do has increased from 5 to 8, and that was a mod, and I'll link it down if you want that. But do be aware that for this particular build, it made no difference. All the people did was dance. And I did all of that because I had planned to have people in these cinematics that we're now going to move on to, except they just didn't really do anything. So I'm just going to show you it without anyone in there because it looks sort of dead anyway. So just pretend there's people in here and they're like having a good time and they're dancing, and just use your imagination like you have to do with most of the things in this game. And here we have the finished piece. Again, lots of head in this build. There's the egg being fertilized by sin, or whatever the hell I decided was going on here. The double helix coalescing to form a gender combination within this human form. All very symbolic, all very mindful, very profound. Up here to the horrible hell section. And there's the little desk where you can buy your self-help things, whatever they might be, whatever you think they are. That's down to you. It's not me. That's your mind, not mine. And moving around, and we have this lovely fiery glow where you can sit there and think about woohooing but not doing it because the game doesn't let you really do that. And another bar here where Bonkers Betty did enjoy standing behind this bar. Again, she's not in these cinematics because she had no one to serve because no one came up here. Here's the bedroom, and I've put this thing on the wall. I don't really know what it is. I just felt like it needed to go there. Moving on to this head and torso. This represents the split between hell and fire and the sun or something, I don't know. And here we are outside. We have Adam and Eve. Eve's got a handbag because she's just better than him. She's got a job, he's not got one. And we're moving through to this water area. I placed this very sultry statue, which is actually a vampire. I just turned around and stuck her in the wall. Downstairs into the Garden of Eden, the place of original sin. As you can see, I've relit this whole place. It's all very watery now, which I just preferred this a lot more. Done a bit of extra detailing, made some like wall beams, put some glass in there, etc, etc. This turned out really nice, and this place actually looks like the least sinful of all of them. And you can, cleanse your soul and baptize yourself in the waters of the Garden of Eden and choose to not eat the apple and change your fate or something, I don't know. And then here's the hot tub. I put some wall things, I don't know what they're called. Anyway, that's the end. So thank you so much for watching. Be kind to yourselves. I'm so sorry.